Hey you guys, it's Monica and welcome. If you are new, welcome back if you've been rocking with me. So today we are going to be making a bright tone fabric tumbler. And so I don't know who it was in my Instagram comments under when I first asked about the fabric tumblers, but somebody was like, I want to see you do it with that bright tone. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. So we're doing it with bright tone. And so something and if you haven't seen it already, I did do a video doing a fabric tumbler with epoxy. I will link that one below in case you want to see if there's a difference, but pretty much everything goes the same except for the actual like coating. We're going to differ between, the only difference between that one and this one is the use of the epoxy and the use of the bright tone, but everything else I do the same. And so I like to cut my fabric pretty much to size. Making sure that I cut the part of the fabric that I want. I had to make sure I had all four of the ladies in on the cup. So that kind of worked out perfectly because it was like almost like a perfect lineup kind of situation. And now I'm just going to go about applying it. And so this is a already prepped tumbler from Still Magnolia. And the fabric is from Joann's. And y'all, I'm having like a whole mental break. Oh my goodness. And I'm using Mod Podge. That's what's going on. I'm using Mod Podge to apply it. So I always make sure that this first line that I lay down, make sure it's as straight as I can get it up and down the cup. So pretty much make sure it's as straight as possible, not horizontally, girl, vertically on the cup. And then what I like to do is I like to just lay down the width of my brush with Mod Podge. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. And then just smooth the fabric over it. And so, yeah, and I just do that all the way around the cup. And really quick, y'all, like, I know y'all be like, y'all, she always be coming on here complaining, but like, y'all be always having to throw in y'all little 2 cents. Like on my last video, somebody gonna be like, I just want you to know that it's Mod Podge and not Mod Podge. Girl, this is not Speak English with Monica. This is Period 6 Designs. I know what it says, and that's how I choose to pronounce it. Thank you. Now, everyone have a good day. Like, dang, we can't just come over here and vibe sometimes. Anyways, shout out to everybody else who don't care how I pronounce it. It's Glue Girl, Decoupage. Is that what you want me to say, or am I saying that wrong too? Anywho, I'm while it is still drying, or you can wait till after it's dried, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the excess off the top. The key to doing this as clean as possible is making sure your blade is really sharp. I use the blades from the Dollar Tree because I use these for everything, and so I get the blades dull very easily, so I can just change them out really quick, and it's $1, so you can't beat that. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So now I'm going to just let it dry and hang out. So once it's, I can't remember. Yeah, okay. Once it's, y'all, I started making this cup 3 weeks ago. Once it's all dry, I'm gonna come back and seal in everything. So I waited an hour between when I applied it with the glue, with the Mod Podge the first time, and now it's been an hour. Now I'm coming back and coating it and just covering it all in Mod Podge again. Reason being that you don't want whatever your top coat is to soak through. It could cause like weird looking wet spots and whatnot on your cup. And so it just serves as a protective layer before you actually put your top coat on. So it's been another hour, and this is what we're working with. We need to clean up all these edges. So that's a little edging tool I got from Amazon. I will leave a link to this exact one below. Super cheap. It's like 10, 15 bucks. And so this is, if you're like really good at freehanding, you don't need one of these. But if you're like me and you know, by the time you get around the whole cup, your handing got super shaky and that line is going at, a 4-degree angle, and you can tell one of those 4-degree angles that's actually visible to the eye, then you're going to want to buy one of these little tools. And plus, if you plan on doing this a lot, it's very useful. And so just using my X-Acto knife to help me. And I don't press too hard when I use it. That's why I be having to use my X-Acto knife to help me, because I don't be wanting to like cut into the cup. So because you definitely can if you press hard enough. And so that's just not something I want to do. I just rather just use my X-Acto knife to cut the cup, and If it's more like scoring and I just got to cut it off, then that's cool too. And I do the top and bottom. And don't worry if it seems like when you're pulling on this, like it's coming up. Use a little Mod Podge and stick it back down. It's no biggie. That's the good thing. Like, even like when you use glitter in Mod Podge, you can literally just peel it off if it's not working out. And so I'm freehanding this part and pulling up that excess to create a straight line. As close, like I do keep a little bit of overlap between the two edges. So it just looks as clean as possible, but you definitely want to try to cut those as close as possible. And I'm going to just use some tweezers to help me kind of get started pulling up and then just rip it off. And then to make sure that this part is protected, I'm going to just come back and just hit it with a little bit more Mod Podge to protect it before we put our Brite tone on it. Alright, so this is actually footage from the epoxy version of the video because I've recorded it and the footage got corrupted, but essentially this is the glittering part. I just use painter's tape, again, Dollar Tree, which is about to be the $1.25 tree. So I'm about to go in, actually I'm about to go up in there and buy all the stuff I need. $1.25 is not that much money, but you also got to think when you put tax on top of that. Yeah, I'm gonna go rack up on a few things before the end of the year. And so pretty much I just put some acrylic paint in the glue and taped off the edges, and I'm just going around. Like I said, this is footage from the other video, so please don't be confused. But you can see I have the honey mustard that I used sitting there because I was doing all these cups at the same time. But the footage got messed up. But this is exactly what I did for the other one. But I wanted to show you guys what this looks like. And you don't have to mix in acrylic paint. I just think that it looks better. It makes it look more opaque if you're going for an opaque look. If you're not going for an opaque look, it doesn't matter. But it also means that you only have to do one coat of glitter, which is what the case was in both of these. For the honey mustard that I used on the Brite tone cup, I actually mixed it with gold acrylic paint because that's all I had that was closest to yellow. I didn't actually have yellow. So, work with what you got. Color theory. Alright, I won't bore y'all with no more of that. That's essentially what happened. And this is how it looks. And so I did seal in the top and the bottom glitter with Counterculture DIY Quick Coat. Completely optional, but it just makes it easier. So this is our Brite tone. This is just like the little 8-ounce jar. And so I wanted to show you guys real quick, and I know I had asked y'all on the last video, like how y'all price y'all Brite tone cups. I've never actually sold a Brite tone cup to a customer, but like y'all remember when I just opened this up, I've done like 1 or 2 cups. I think 2 cups I did the wine glasses and the snowflake cup a few weeks ago. Those 2 wine glasses in that 1 cup killed this little 8-ounce jar. It's like, wow. And I think this 8-ounce jar is like $30. It's like not cheap. And so I'm very cause like to epoxy a cup, if you're using something like a Counterculture DIY, it's like, maybe $3 a cup, if that, for epoxy. But like this is like $10 because remember on that wine glass video, I had some that was left over. So it's really like I did 1 wine glass in 1 tumbler. Now this is the second tumbler, and these are 20-ounce tumblers, not even like a 30 or anything bigger than that. So that is like my biggest issue with Brite tone at the moment. And so you guys see, I am trying out the finger application to see if I can, trying to make it as epoxy-like as possible. They're completely different, but trying to get that feel. Because I know, like I said in the last time, like people think that's like a flex you can apply with your finger. I'm still wearing a glove. You don't have to because they say you don't have to, but I'm still using gloves because I don't want it on my finger and I don't want it on my nails. But that's just me. So yeah, I'm trying to give this a shot to see how I like it. So that is how the first layer. I always consider this first layer like a sealing layer. To see, to get everything like kind of sealed in. It's not really like, at this point, I don't feel like it's actually coating anything. So yeah, so that is how it is after the first layer. So next we're going to go on to the second layer. And this is what we're working with. I'm coming back in with the finger glove again. Because when I did it the first time, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Because I feel like when you use a brush, you get more even application. Even though this is self-leveling, so in theory it evens out itself. But that also is based on other factors like, is your turner level? Is your cup on there evenly? Things like that. So it's not, it's not going to do all the work by itself. You have to make sure the other factors that are going on are also not working against you. And so, yeah, I just felt like with the finger method, I wasn't getting a lot on there at once. And I just didn't feel like it was building up the best. And so after this layer, I did switch back to using the brush because I just feel more comfortable using a brush with Brite tone. Which is kind of weird because you think once I would get used to doing the fingers since that's how you do it with epoxy. But that's just not how it worked. But it's cool though. Just real quick, y'all. I had to stop recording my audio because these companies, they be called, like I just got a call and a text message from a company. Look how much Brite tone I've gone through already in just 4 coats. It's crazy. This stuff goes by so fast. But like, these companies, they call and be like, you need to call us, your debt going in the collections. And you be like, ma'am, I only owe $10 to the dermatologist's office. I don't have student loans because I went to school for free. My credit card, it's paid. So, like, why ain't scammers, like, y'all need to get y'all scamming list together. Like, you literally should go and, like, go in the list on Instagram of all the people who follow, like, them fake credit repair people and like try to get their information because y'all are just clogging up my phone, my free text messages, and my unlimited minutes. Because like, ma'am, I don't owe nobody. But anyhow, I'm off my soapbox for that. Like, I was just so annoyed. Like, stop calling here. We don't owe nobody. Thank you. We're very blessed. Like, very thankful that we don't owe nobody. But like, y'all trying to scheme me, please stop. And I'm not even gonna tell y'all. Y'all, my mom, she had found an offer on Amazon. Like, it was like get free coats. And so I'm like, oh, mom, I ordered these coats and like I have them sent to your house. And like whoever like needs, like if you know any kids that need a coat, like you just give them to the kids. Cause like she reached out. My mom told me about it and like told me to order something. I don't know no damn kids. Like it's just me and my husband. And so I ordered the coats to go to her house in Pennsylvania for her to give to whoever, needs them. Y'all, why this thing turned out to be a scam? I said, see, this is why I don't listen to nobody. For example, last Black Friday, my sister was like, oh, girl, like there's this girl, billionaire, Barbie billionaire hair, whatever. Like her wigs is on point. She always be looking bomb. Like she's from the DMV. Like we need to support. I'm like, bet, cool. Y'all, while we ordered the wigs, and I don't even know if it was a Black Friday sale. I feel like I bought my wig in October. She was having like a fall sale or something. Y'all, why by December these wigs still hadn't shown up? And this lady talking about, oh, there was inventory issues. Ma'am, you're selling what you don't have. You're selling what you do not have. So anyway, people be out here scamming, scheming, and doing the most. And that's my off-topic story for this video. Let me get back to telling you what I'm doing. And so I go ahead, like make sure you're, especially these Brite tone cups, and especially if you're using the pool noodles, make sure you're pulling them off the turner. And cleaning up those edges, using your X-Acto knife to cut off all that excess. And now I'm sanding. That is 100 grit paper that I am sanding with. And I'm just wiping it down. When I'm using Brite tone, usually when I'm using epoxy, I wipe down with alcohol. With Brite tone, I don't really know the chemical composition and what's the right way to go about wiping it down to make sure it's not a material that's going to break down the Brite tone. So I just use water very quickly and I wipe it with a dry paper towel to make sure that like nothing's left on there. And so we're going to just keep coating it. And so this is the 6th layer. And if anyone's wondering, I do 3 hours between layers. Yeah. So I think this is like day 3. I be forgetting these things be on my turner, honestly. I'm so used to doing epoxy and leaving it for 12 hours and it not needing me. This thing is like a child that needs a lot of attention. You have to be very attentive to it. You have to check it and feed it regularly and make sure that it's okay. So that's another thing I don't like about Brite tone because like I said, I just be forgetting. And I work from home and I be home, but like I don't be on that side of the house. So yeah. But back to the brush, feel much better with the brush. And so It's been 2 weeks at this point. So let's jump ahead 2 weeks. We had a family emergency. I had to go to Alabama with my husband. And so this cup was not important compared to what we had going on with our family. And so then Thanksgiving came, and now we're back in action. So it's been sitting on my turner for 2 weeks, being neglected. But it's not done, obviously, because it doesn't look the best I think it could look. And you maybe could have stopped after that 6th coat, but I didn't think it looked the best. I felt like it could be better. And so I didn't know what to do once your Brite tone has been curing for 2 weeks. And so, because most things, like full cure is like 28 days. And so we were essentially halfway there. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to sand it. It didn't need to be sanded, but I'm like, I'm going to sand it just because I didn't know. This is, amount check, almost gone. And I'm going to just go back and do a few more coats because, yeah, like I said, I thought it could be better. I thought it could be shinier. And I thought we could get it popping just a little bit more. And so that's what we're doing. So back with the brush. And I'm not going to bore y'all showing y'all all this footage. Actually, I have it in here while I'm recording, but I'm about to stop and cut it down because y'all know how this goes. Let's just get to the finished product. All right, so there were 10 coats in total on this cup. And this is what we are working with. And so looks much better, much shinier, more epoxy-like with the 10 layers. I do want to point out that I had some type of issue with the Brite tone, and I thought I could sand it away, but I obviously wasn't sanding deep enough. It just looks like little air bubbles. Like, well, that's a big air bubble. Like, and it's not that noticeable from a distance, but I do have it in 2 places, and I'll show you guys the other one. So that's the only thing with the Brite tone fabric tumblers that I need to figure out how to work out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these kind of videos, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We would really appreciate it. Follow us on TikTok at period6glitter. Instagram is period6designs. Subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. If you want to see more Brite tone videos, leave us a comment below. If you want to tell us what you want to see next, because we're always looking for ideas. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.